Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome back, dear students. We had the beginning of our unit, which is Unit 3. Now, it's also an enjoyable unit which we predicted, or we talked about predictions that happened in the past about the future, which is, of course, our past. Now, it was an amusing lesson that had many amusing ideas and how the people thought that these things may be possible. So we're going to just revise what we had in the unit before. Of course, our units, what will they think of next? We had the discussion about the different things that may be predicted in the future as inventions and different things or techniques that people can use in the future. Now we have predictions, as you can see. We have page number 34. We have the vocabulary. So we studied the vocabulary. We do have our 6 words, which are circuits, condensed, determined, extensively, rank, and span. Now we explained them. Now just to revise, what are the words that we have here? You can see that we have the 6 words. You can just match here. Now I have the 2 pictures. If you recall that I have the pictures, I explained them in the lesson before, and I'm going to add like a hint for you, a synonym or an antonym or something just to give you the idea, and you are going to match between the pictures and the words. So we have the first one. Let's start with this one. Now we have here, if you remember the word shortened, I explained that here, like maps in general, they are not the real picture or the real image or even the real idea about the places or the locations, but they are shortened. So which means that we have here, which one of the words? I'm giving you time just to revise here. You can see that we have here the word, yes, it's okay, we have here correct, condensed. Now here, this picture, you can see that it is from a wide image here. You can see that we have the picture. Just think about it. Which one is it? Which word? If it covers a wide area, what do we say? That it is what? It is taken, covering a wide range or area, it is taken extensively. Yes, correct. Now moving on, we have the 4 words left. Now you can see that we have 1, 2, 3 pictures here. Now we're going to see what are the words left. We have here span, rank, circuits, and determined. So let's start with the first picture here. Now we say that this bridge here, do you remember when we talked about bridges and what is the idea of a bridge? It connects between one place and another. So we can say that it extends across an area to just connect between the 2 areas. Now here, what is the closest word or the meaning of extend across? Yes, if you have got it correctly, we have the word span, correct. Also, we have another word. We have here, now the 2 pictures here actually, they are the same idea. We have here paths for electrical currents. So instead of saying paths for electrical currents, you can just use one word, which is going to be here. We have the word, yes, correct, circuits. And the last picture that we have here, you can see that we have this boy. Now, instead of saying that something is impossible, no, everything is possible. This is some kind of positive idea that you can do something. So which means that you have decided to do it and you are determined, or you determined to do something. It can be either a noun or a verb. Don't forget that. Which leaves us to the last word. Now the last word that we have here, just to revise here, we have the word, yes, rank. Now what is the meaning of rank? Remember that rank is a position in an ordered group. So we have covered the words that we have here, and just to revise, what are the meanings, the correct meanings here, and the correct order for the meanings. Moving on. We have the pair work part. We have here work with a partner to make predictions about the year 2100. Create one prediction for each of the categories in the article. Discuss your predictions with the class. So what do you think will happen? What are the things that the inventions or the different imaginations that come in mind for this year? So you can have a discussion with your partner. It is pair work, don't forget. So you're going to have a pair discussion. Now we do have the comprehension questions, page number 35. So we have the 5 questions. We're going to see what are the answers from the book. Now this was homework. We're going to just revise the answers here. We do have the first one. Now going back to the part about people. If you recall the question here, just check your answers with me, please. We have here, what was the average life expectancy in 1900? So from this part that I have, just to revise here the answer, you can see that the question here, yes, the average life expectancy will have risen from the current age of 35 to the age of 50. So we have here the complete answer written. Okay, so instead of just highlighting from the paragraph, you can just write the answers in a correct form. The average life expectancy in 1900 is 35 years. The second question, which is in this part, the language. Now in this section, we have here the question, number 2. What predictions did the author make about the English language? Have they come true? So we have 2 parts here. Now the 2 parts, you can see that's the answer. Just check your answer with me, please. Yes, okay, so there will be no C, X, or Q in the English alphabet. Also, we have here spelling by sound will have been adopted. We have here English will have become a language of condensed words, as we just revised. And we have here English will, we can see here the complete answer here. So we can say that English will be the most widely spoken language come true. So I gathered, instead of just highlighting, I gathered it in one complete answer. Moving on to the third question we have here in transportation. The question was, what do you think the author was referring to when he used the term airships? So you can see here, do you remember when we highlighted that there will be airships? So here, you can give a free answer here. Now, he was probably thinking about airplane, or a plane, sorry. You may have another thing that comes in mind, so it depends on your point of view concerning the paragraph. The question, the fourth question after that we have here, choose a prediction and give an example of how it has become true. So there are predictions that were made in the past for things that actually happened. You can just choose an example and discuss it with your class. The last question, number 5. Which prediction do you think is the least likely to ever come true and why? Now, I gave you here a hint. It also depends on your point of view. So here, just an example here, we can say that there will never be tubes connecting houses to a store. This is something impossible. So if you have come out with something else, it's okay. We have here open answers. You can just put another example. Now we have finished from the comprehension questions. Now going back to my technique, which is all in one, to use the vocabulary in the same content, just to revise and to remember what do you have here. So we're going to see what we have here, the paragraph that I have completed. You can see that we have the words. Now the green words are words that we studied in the units, the previous units. And the red colored words are words that we're going to actually study, inshallah, in the future. So let's read what we have here. When it comes to human courage, space jumping is ranked in the top. Space jumping isn't commonplace, but scientists were determined to accomplish that goal, and they did accomplish that, although it is steep and needs lots of dedication. Of course, rigorous training was required, and they simulated jumping from space while training. They even estimated the time needed to achieve the target. So you can see that we have here different points. Now, if you notice that I also used did accomplish, which is the emphatic do that we studied in Unit 1. So you can join the content together and just apply the different things that you have studied. Moving on. Now, going back to our title, what will they think of next? Here, the title indicates that we are talking about things that are going to happen in the future, as we did mention in our last lesson. Now, we are going to also use the future or talk about the future, but this time we are going to study the future tense, which is going to be our grammar lesson for the day. Now, we have the grammar lesson. Our objectives are deduct the grammar rules from sentences, use will have plus the past participle referring to the future perfect. Now, do you recall the present perfect? Now, this time we have the future perfect. Number 3, differentiate between the future perfect simple and the future perfect progressive. Number 4, to use time clauses with the future tense. And number 5, apply the correct form of the verb and answer questions using the future form. Now, let's start our lesson. We have here, we're going to start with the first thing. Now, watch out for sentences that indicate the future. I have applied here a short story. Now, you are going to just read with me, and then we're going to check the future tense in these sentences. So here, the red colors are also words that we have studied, or the colored words in general. But you are going to underline with me what is the future tense that is used. So we have here, first of all, we're talking about Ahmed Abdullah, who has a reputation of being a great electronic engineer and is ranked one of the best in town. He has excelled in providing electronic systems in houses and turns them into smart houses, which extensively provide all services needed. In fact, by the end of the month, Ahmed himself will have moved to a new house and is determined to make his house a model. So we can see that we are talking about an engineer, and this engineer has a kind of smart house. We have the idea, but what are the forms that indicate the future here? What did you find? So just to check with me, we can see that we have here the sentence, yes. By the end of the month, Ahmed himself will have moved. So did Ahmed move to the house? Not yet. By the end of the month, he will have moved. Completing, we have the second part. You can open the air conditioning from your phone. When you arrive, the AC will have been cooling the entire house. If you need a hot meal, just open the application and control your oven. When you get there, the oven will have been heating and preparing the meal without waiting. So the smart house actually here even prepares meals for you. Okay, so where is the future tense here? Now you can see that we have the phrases or the sentences, the forms. When you arrive, the AC will have been cooling. Now just think about it. We are talking about two actions. Have you arrived yet? Not yet. So when you arrive, the AC will have been cooling, which means that the AC will have been working before you arrived. Two actions. The second part here, what are we talking about? We have here, yes, the same idea. When you get there, the oven will have been heating. So the same meaning in two different examples for you. Moving on. Okay, so I'm going to complete reading and you are going to complete underlining the grammar or the future forms. By the time Ahmed moves in his amazing house, they will have accomplished the project. And when he does, he is going to showcase the application on social platforms. They are now doing condensed maintenance all over the circuits in the house to make sure that everything is working well and that electricity and Wi-Fi are always strong and span throughout the house from the basement to all parts of the house. So what did you find? Now we can see that we have here, by the time Ahmed moves to his amazing house, they will have accomplished. So we have here they, plural this time. We have also, when he does, he is going to showcase. Now we have here a different form of the future. What else did you find? So just to scan, you can see that. Just check with me. Yes, okay, so we're going to just move on. Also, after they finish, they will open the house for visitors to try out their system. Since the idea is original, they are going to present their project to the organization, which gives endowments to support new ideas. But before they present it, they will make sure of every detail until they get approval. Ahmed and Umar will continue working to make their idea the best. So we have here, the idea here is to revise, as we mentioned, vocabulary and also to apply grammar forms. So what did you find? You can see that we have here endowments. as for grammar, we can see that we have here after they finish, they will open. Now we mentioned something about using have. And we have also going to in the past slide. And here you can see that we have will, which is also used for the future. Moving on, we have also, since the idea is original, they are going to present their project. And before they present it, they will make sure of every detail. So you can see that in this part, we have plenty of examples that all show the idea of the future. Moving on. Now, observing the sentences, there are different structures indicating the future. So we agreed that there are different structures. They all indicate the future, but they are not the same. We're going to see what we have here. The future meaning in the text. Now, these are just examples to highlight what we have here. Now you can see that Ahmed will have moved. Now we are talking about a singular here, Ahmed. He will have moved. So you can see that we have the helping verb will, we have moved, past participle, or have, sorry, the helping verb, and then moved, the past participle. In the second sentence, we have here, they will have accomplished. Now here, this is something interesting to just point out, that we use have. Either it is singular or plural, we have the same helping verb. So we have here, they will have accomplished. Also, the AC will have been cooling. Now, what is different in this example from the ones before? You can see that we have here will, we have also have, but instead of using the past participle, we used been, the verb plus ing. So here means that we can use also the ing form here in the sentence, but it has to be with been. The last one, when you get there, the oven will have been heating. This is just to make sure that we are on the same or the correct form. Now we're going to move on. So these are the two structures that we talked about. We mentioned that using the past participle, or we have here using been plus the verb ing. So we have here, when we start our diet group, these are just two different examples just to show you. Now you can see from the timeline that we have the past, the present, and the future. So let's go back and read our example here. When we start our diet group, Ali will have started. Now this is why I read the examples that we had before, just to get you in the mood that we have two actions that we're talking about. So we have here the two actions, starting group, or the diet group, and Ali will have started. So who started first, the diet group or Ali? So here we can say that we have here, this is Ali. In the future, he will have started. And after he has started, we have here, the diet group will have been, or will have started. Now this is the future perfect simple. Why is it the future perfect simple? Because we just use the future will plus the helping verb, the perfect have, plus the past participle. But on the other hand, we have the same timeline. This time we have the future perfect progressive, continuous. So here we have another example. You can see that we have here, by November, Ali will have been dieting. So from progressive, you know that we're going to use verb ing here. Now also, we have the two actions, so which one starts before? We're talking about something that happened from the past. Now, by November, we have here the past, Ali started, and in the future, November. So we have here, by November, when November comes, Ali will have been dieting for 6 months. So an action that was started in the past and is going to be continuing till the future. So these are the two structures that we talked about, just to go back to them again. We have here either they are singular or plural. You're going to use will, you're going to use have, but if you have been in the sentence, you apply ing with the verb, and if not, simple, we have the perfect simple, you're going to use the past participle. Moving on. Now we're going to look at other future structures. Now when we read the story about Ahmed and his smart house, we read also or underlined different structures. So we have two until now. These are other examples from the story. Now, where is the future in the first one, in the black example? You can see that it is, he is going to showcase. So we have here using going to, and showcase is going to be the base form. So we have here, you're going to use going to plus the helping verb or the verb to be. And in the green one, you can see that we have here, after they finish, they will open the house for visitors. So this time there is a difference. The first one you used going to plus verb to be. In the second one, we just have will plus the base form, which is open. In the third example, we can see that we have like the first, but what is the difference? The difference is going to be using verb to be are, because we have here the plural form plus going to, and then we have the base. In the third or the fourth one, sorry, we have here like the second, we have here just to, they will make sure. Okay, so for us to make sure that our examples are correct. And we have here the last one, until they get approval, Ahmed and Umar will continue working. Also we have here will continue. So just to make sure that you use is and are correctly with going to, and if you just have will in the sentence, you do not need a helping verb. Okay, so we have verb to be. Now we're going to apply the rest of our structures here. You can see that we have here the first part. You can see the second. I have, if it is singular, I'm going to use either is or am plus going to. If we have plural, we're going to use are plus going to. There is no perfect form used, and you're going to use the base form. If you just have will can be applied with either singular or plural, as you can see here, and it is used also with the base form. Moving on. Now we're going to discuss time clauses with the future tense. So we have here, what are time clauses? We're going to see the time clauses that we have mentioned here. Like this example here, when he does, he's going to showcase the application on social platforms. What is the word that indicates time? You can see that the word here is going to be, yes, correct. We have here the word when. Now there are many words that are used. It's not just about here, the one word. Now we can use other words. You can see that we have our same examples, but this time I want you just to check out the time clauses that are used. So as we mentioned, we have when in the first one. In the second one, we have another word that indicates time, which is going to be yes, after. Look for the third word in the third example. You can see that we have here, yes, since. And in the fourth, we have here before. And in the last example, we have until. Now these 5 words, they are time clauses that are, of course you can see that they are in different parts in the sentence that are divided from the main clause in the sentence, or in the complete sentence. Okay, now just to point out that the sentence may be arranged, or rearranged, sorry. Now we have here the sentence is going to be, after they finish, they will open the house for visitors. If you notice that all the sentences, we had the time clause at the very beginning. And how do we know that it is a clause? Because we have here the comma. So this is going to be the part of the sentence and the other. You can just rearrange it. How can we rearrange? We can write it another way, saying that they will open the house for visitors after they finish. So at the end of our table, we just add that we have here the time clauses, if you notice that they are used with the subject and the simple present. Now we have our exercises in the book. You can see that we have here the first one, use the future perfect to combine the future events into one sentence using by or by the time. Now you can see that we have here 2 parts. We're going to combine them together using the future perfect. Now we have the first one. For the first event, it will start to rain. The second event, we will arrive at the picnic. We have here, we can write. For example here, I will take my final exams. The second event, the end of the June will come. Now we combine them together. By the end of June, I will have taken all my final exams. Now this is just an example. We're going to go back to our exercise. You can say, for example, by the time we arrived at the picnic, it will have started to rain. The second one, I will fall asleep. And the second event, this film will be over. I can say, I will have fallen asleep by the time this film is over. We have number 3, I will get married and have children. The second event, 2035 will come. So we can say here, by 2035, I will have gotten married and had children. So you can see from the 3 examples that we use the future perfect. Moving on to the second exercise, use the future perfect or the future perfect progressive to complete each sentence. In some cases, both forms can be used or possible. So you can see that we have here both examples can be used or both the forms. Now, for example, we have here number 1, Fadi and Amina got married in 2000. By 2034, they will have been married for 34 years. My brother became a vegetarian 3 weeks ago. By next week, we can say he will have been a vegetarian for 4 weeks. Jassim started his new job in February. By November, he will have been working there for 10 months. You started studying at 4 o'clock. By 8 o'clock, you will have been studying for 4 hours. Now, the last part that we have here in our book, the exercises, we have here page number 36. Put the verbs in parentheses in either the future tense, will, or be going to, or the present tense. So we have here the verbs in between brackets or parentheses, and you are going to just put them in the correct form. So we have here the company will manufacture the parts when they, you can say here, receive the order. After I make, so it's the base form, $1 million, I will buy or am going to buy, either one is correct, my parents a house. I will travel the world before I get married and settle down. So I have done the exercise or examples. The rest is up for you to do as homework. We're going to check our examples or the exercises in our next lesson, inshallah. So pay attention that we have the homework on pages number 36 and 37. So at the very end, create your future, make things happen. Our outline for the day, using the future perfect simple, using the future perfect progressive, and using time clauses with future sentences or clauses. So this is our lesson. Do your homework, and tomorrow we'll see you again.